The UK and France have summoned Israel's ambassadors over Israel's plans to build 3,000 more settler homes on disputed land near East Jerusalem and in the West Bank. In an unprecedented move, the two nations are also reportedly considering recalling their envoys from Tel Aviv. RT's Paula Slayer reports.
In the immediate run-up to that UN vote, we did see the rhetoric from the Israeli government in terms of the threat of sanctions being toned down. But what we're hearing now is that for the first time ever, Britain and France are considering recalling their ambassadors from Tel Aviv over Israel's expansionist policies in the settlements. Now, this comes after an announcement by the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu that he was approving the construction of some 3,000 new housing units in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. It's happening in an area known as E1, and what it effectively means is that the West Bank will be cut off from East Jerusalem. This announcement is widely perceived as punishment against the Palestinians for, number one, going to the UN with this bid, and number two, winning it, essentially winning a bid that sees the Palestinian state being recognized within 1967 borders and given non-member observer status at the United Nations. Now, we're also hearing criticism from European ambassadors, European diplomats warning that there would and could be further moves against Israel. Now, we're also hearing from the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, and to quote him, he says that this has dealt an almost fatal blow to the remaining chances of securing a two-state solution. Amongst the punishment that the Israeli government has taken is that they have frozen some $100 million in tax money that Israel collects on behalf of the Palestinian Authority. Now, this has dealt a painful blow to the PA because essentially it can only cover around 17% of its needs. The rest of the money comes from this tax money, comes from the United States and from the European Union. If you look at the settler population in this country, they too are also unhappy. They do not believe that the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu will go ahead with building these units. They believe that it's almost a cheap move by Netanyahu to try and gain support ahead of January's elections, and that this is an internal matter to try and really build votes. The Netanyahu government essentially sees this bid, and perhaps I should say not just the Netanyahu government, but many Israelis feel that it was a one-sided resolution that was put forward at the United Nations. The point being made by the government is that there cannot be any kind of unilateral moves on the Palestinian side. There needs to first be negotiations, and only then can that lead to talks. There needs to be direct talks between both sides.